The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. And I want to apologize to everybody that listens to the show often for being off the air for the entire month of April. You know, just me and Sean's schedule didn't work out. We tried new things. It just didn't work out. So I was like, you know what? I need time. I need to figure this out, what I'm going to do. Things are going on in my family, going on in my life. I'm improving things. Not the show, because obviously I don't want, I've always had this picture for this show where I want it to be like Colin Cowherd's show. And then I realized Colin Cowherd's a multimillionaire, probably. I don't know that for sure. I am me. I work at a minimum wage job. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not Colin Cowherd yet. So for the next couple of weeks, we're going to dumb it down a bit, per se. Today and next week, we will be here. You will be listening to this show, the SCU Show, commercial-free, for just 1 hour. You know what? That's fine. You got to start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere. And tonight here on the SCU Show, we start with the NFL draft. Of course we do. I love the NFL. The NFL is my favorite sport. Football is my favorite sport. The NFL is the best of all football. And we start with the number one overall pick. The rumor, and everybody says this. The defense wins championships, and that's been proven the past few seasons. I think back to Super Bowl 48. Then the Seattle defense dominated Denver, who won the Super Bowl. 49, New England's defense stepped up to beat the Seahawks. Super Bowl 50, Broncos defense beat the Panthers. And then last year, Dante Hightower was the key on defense that sparked the 28-3 comeback for the Patriots as they beat the Falcons in overtime. So maybe I'm not saying the Browns are going to the Super Bowl next year. Come on, the Browns are not going to the Super Bowl next year. Let's be real. Let's be real here. They're not going to the Super Bowl. They're going to the playoffs. Doubt it. They're going places. The Browns are. You're not going to. I wrote an article about this earlier today. You're not going to believe what I'm going to say right now. The Cleveland Browns won the NFL draft. What? The Browns won the draft? Yeah. The Cleveland Browns won the NFL draft, ladies and gents. They started at the first overall pick. They got defensive end Myles Garrett from Texas A&M. That's great. They need a pass rusher. They need somebody on that defense that can get to the quarterback, especially when you're facing quarterbacks like Big Ben Roethlisberger and Joe Flacco and Andy Dalton. Yeah, they're not very good quarterbacks, but they both seem to beat the Cleveland defense. So that's where we start. We start with the first overall pick, Myles Garrett, great pick. I feel like he's going to work out. A lot of number one overall picks the past few years have worked out. I feel like this streak continues here with Myles Garrett. And then here we go. We stay with the Browns here. Number what was it, 25. It was supposed to be not Houston. It was supposed to be, I believe it was supposed to be Houston's pick. They just traded with Cleveland for the 12th overall pick, and the Texans got Deshaun Watson. We'll get to that a little later. So the Browns get the 25th overall pick, and who do they pick? Jabril Peppers. Before the draft, I was saying if my Cowboys got Jabril Peppers, I would have been the happiest guy out here. Jabril Peppers would have been a perfect addition to my Cowboys team. I would have loved it. I would have loved to have them on the Cowboys. I would have loved to have them on the Cowboys. Unfortunately, Cleveland snagged him at 25. Love it. Peppers is my favorite guy in the draft. All these great quarterbacks, all these great cornerbacks, these defensive ends, these defensive tackles, these running backs. Forget him. Jabril Peppers is my top guy in this draft. and he went to the Cleveland Browns. Steal. Because that guy can do everything and anything, and he will do everything and anything to help out the Browns. Everything and anything. Offense. He's now paired up with Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor's shown wait, I'm wrong. I believe Terrell Pryor actually went to Washington. Corey Coleman, that's who I'm thinking of. Corey Coleman. Corey Coleman, he scored 8 touchdowns in 8 games last year before getting injured, if I'm not mistaken. What a year for Corey Coleman. He's coming back. He's going to have Drew Peppers on his side. It's going to be a great wide receiver duo. Defense. The guy played great defense as well. I believe he plays the safety when he's on defense. Amazing. Just amazing. And then that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. That's not all Jabril Peppers does. Jabril Peppers can also play on the special teams. This guy has shown potential to be the next Devin Hester. We could be looking at one of the best guys to do it all in the NFL ever. So I'm disappointed the Cowboys got Peppers. I mean, they didn't get Peppers. Sorry, they're disappointed they didn't get Jabril Peppers. But hey, the Browns, good for them. Good for them. They got something great there. And then there's tight end David Njoku out of Miami. If you've known me the last 2 years, I've covered. I was the editor-in-chief of Miami Sports and Lifestyle. That ended pretty fast. So I covered a lot of Miami Hurricanes. I know Njoku. He didn't do too well in 2015. He only caught 1 touchdown pass. Then last year, broke out. 8 touchdowns. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But that's not all. The Browns just kept doing good things here. Khalid Brantley, defensive tackle out of Florida. The only reason he went to the 5th round was because of the incident where he allegedly punched a 32-year-old woman and knocked her out. Literally, knocked her out cold. Had he not had that rumor or whatever it might be, if that never happened, if that was never a topic, Khalid Brantley would have gone in the 1st round to somebody who could use defensive tackle. But I'm never a fan of these teams always looking at, oh my God, he hit a woman. No, he did this, he did that. He must be bad at football. Really? How does one's personal life affect their professional life? How? It doesn't. I have family that have great professional lives and bad personal ones. It doesn't affect them. Joe Mixon went to Cincinnati, I believe in the 2nd round. Punched the woman. That doesn't, just because he punched a woman doesn't affect his play. I see great things coming from Khalid Brantley in Cleveland. Khalid Brantley in Cleveland is going to be a great thing, just like Drew Peppers will be, David Njoku will be, and Myles Garrett will be. So you got Garrett, you got Peppers on defense. And you got Njoku on offense. Helping out with Corey Coleman and also Jabril Peppers. How can you say the Browns are not the big winners in this draft? They got some of the absolute biggest names. Studs. Peppers steal the draft, even though they stole him in the 1st round. Disappointed the Cowboys they get it, but you know what? I like the name Taco Charlton. I believe he's going to do great things for my Dallas Cowboys. But you know, also, so the Cleveland Browns did great. Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns doing great with getting their studs. But you know who else did pretty good? And this team is, and I said this team would compete with New England. I still believe they will not. The Pittsburgh Steelers had the second best draft. So staying in the AFC North here, the Steelers had the second best draft. They are. I mean, let's stop a second and let's look at what they have before the draft. Big Ben, Sammy Coates' name that's popping up that I've been watching. Eli Rogers' name that's popping up. Then you have the running back duo of Le'Veon Bell and DeAndre Williams. And now you have Martavis Bryant coming back after a long suspension. How could you do any better, Steelers? How could you do any better? Can you do any better? How is it possible to do any better for the Steelers? Is it? Apparently it is. Because the Steelers, with their offensive weapons in Sammy Coates, Eli Rogers, Antonio Brown. How could I forget Antonio Brown? Martavis Bryant's coming back from suspension. And look who else they got. Juju Smith-Schuster out of USC. Stud. He's one of the best receivers in this draft. And that's just as like having all four kings in your deck of cards and Big Ben's holding the hand. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And then we go to the running back. Who else would they give besides James Conner? One of the best in the draft. One of the best in the draft. He stays home, plays with the Steelers. He's going to have two of the best running backs in the game to run behind. He's not going to get much carries. He'll start. He won't start. He'll get a lot of carries. He's not going to start. He's not going to get as much carries because he has to be behind Le'Veon Bell and DeAndre Williams. But he's going to do great things in Pittsburgh one day. One day, it's just going to be him, and he's just going to do great things for the Steelers. And oh my God, I love this pick by the Steelers. Love this pick by the Steelers right here. With the 135th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select who else but Joshua Dobbs out of Tennessee. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ben's successor right here. Do you realize that? It's not Landry Jones. That's obvious. Josh Dobbs is such a great quarterback. And he gets to play for an organization like the Steelers. How? It doesn't get any better than that. Not only that, but round 4, pick 135, quarterback. I wonder when was the last time I heard that? Let's ponder that for a second. The last time we heard a quarterback being drafted 135th overall. When's the last time we heard that? Oh, now I remember. Mr. Dak Prescott. And what did Dak Prescott do? Of course, Dak Prescott went on to win the MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year. I'm not saying Josh Dobbs is going to win the Offensive Player of the Year. He probably won't even start. He's going to be backup all season. And then he'll come in week 17 against the Browns when they're winning by 21 and throw another 4 touchdowns. And then everyone's going to be like, oh boy. Can't wait to see what Josh Dobbs does. I'm very excited to see Josh Dobbs become an NFL quarterback. I'm very excited to see that. I cannot wait for it to happen. It is going to be awesome. Yeah, he sit behind Big Ben for a little bit. So what? Oh, and here's another one they forgot. Their defense is already stacked. And who else do they have besides T.J. Watt? Wow, what a pick by the Steelers. T.J. Watt, younger brother of J.J. Watt. By the way, Texans Steelers, Christmas night. It's going to be an interesting Christmas for the Watt brothers. So he gets to work with James Harrison. You know T.J. Watt's going to be great. He gets to work with some of the best in the business, such as James Harrison and other Steelers guys that I can't name. But T.J. Watt's a steal. They got him at 30, too. You know, number 30, not 32. You get what I mean? T.J. Watt went to the Steelers at 30. What a great first pick for the Steelers. So them and the Browns are my two big time winners in the draft for 2017. Like, the Browns did good because they're the Browns, and now there's something excited to see. For Pittsburgh, they just built. They went from I can't even think of a building, the Chrysler Building, to the Sears Tower. They went from a really big building to the biggest building in the world. I still don't think he can compete in New England because Tom Brady I don't know if you've all seen this picture. There's a picture of Bill Belichick drinking orange juice. I actually have it on my phone. Let me pull it up right in a sec. It's a very funny picture of Bill Belichick drinking orange juice and mocking every other team. All right, here it is. Go ahead and take our top draft picks. I'll win the Super Bowl with lacrosse players and Popeyes employees. That is literally what New England does every year. They're successful with lacrosse players and Popeye employees. Every year. They're always successful. Doesn't matter who Tom Brady has to throw to. Successful. Doesn't matter whose running back is. Successful. Doesn't matter. But anyway. So the Steelers went from the Chrysler Building to the Sears Tower, and I still think they're not going to win the AFC title. They'll win the division. Because Joe Flacco's deteriorating, Andy Dalton, and the Browns, well, it's all hype right now for Cleveland. I'd love to see them succeed with what they have, but we'll see what happens. Long time till the season starts. So I said this. Josh Dobbs is going to be a great thing in for the Steelers or another team one day. Unfortunately, and I hate this is the worst thing to happen in the 2017 NFL Draft. I cannot say the same for Patrick Mahomes II. He was my favorite quarterback in this draft. Nobody could compare to him. Maybe Deshaun Watson a little bit, but not too much. And what happens? Patrick Mahomes goes to He goes to Kansas City at 10. Now you think, why is he you think Josh Dobbs can be great sitting behind Big Ben, but not Patrick Mahomes? Because the Chiefs waste quarterbacks. That's all they do is waste quarterbacks. And with the high picks, if they drafted him in the third or fourth round, fine. I didn't even expect Patrick Mahomes to go in the first round. He went top 10. And now the Chiefs are going to waste their number 10 overall pick for nothing. They're wasting it. Last year, did the same thing. They drafted Kevin Hogan out of Stanford. Stud. I loved him. He sits behind Alex Smith and goes to the Browns. That's pretty much what's going to happen with Patrick Mahomes as well. Mahomes is going to sit behind Alex Smith for a year. And then he'll be the backup to Blake Bortles. It's pathetic. It was such a pathetic move by the Chiefs to do that. And I knew as soon as he was drafted by the Chiefs, and I was so mad that they drafted him. I knew that was going to happen. So that pretty much his career is already ruined. He hasn't even started. Because he's going to sit behind Alex Smith for a year, and then he'll be back for Blake Bortles. Disgrace. Why the Chiefs went ahead and drafted him, I will never know. From what I know about Kansas City, their biggest need was a running back, not a quarterback. Jamal Charles is gone. And maybe they could use somebody in case something happens to Spencer Ware or Charkandrick West. No, let's go quarterback. He can sit on the bench for a year, and then go back up Blake Bortles or Brian Hoyer in San Francisco. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable by the Chiefs doing that. That makes no sense to me. It's insane. Oh, Lord. Something else that doesn't make sense here. Brad Kaya went to the Detroit Lions, where he'll probably be a third-string quarterback. Yeah, he went late in the draft. I mean, he's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback. Every year he improved, and he worked under a coach named Al Golden. And if you Miami fans, you know who Al Golden is. You remember Halloween of 2015, 58-0 against Clemson. And Kai was still successful that season. Last year, amazing season. If it weren't for a 4-game losing streak where things just didn't work out in their favor, Miami would have been on top of the ACC outside of Clemson. Now Kai gets to be a third-string quarterback to Matt Stafford and whoever their backup is. Some of these teams make these picks, and I just don't get them. I just do not understand why these teams make these picks. If you're going to pick somebody, you want to start them, especially if you like Patrick Mahomes. If you're going to draft somebody 10th overall, don't sit them on the bench. What does that do for you besides waste millions of dollars? Now, I doubt he will be a backup to Matt Stafford. But if he is, Matt Stafford gets injured. Kai has great potential. Nobody can. Nobody FSU fan. I know the Miami people have a rivalry with the Florida State Seminole fans and the Florida Gator fans. But even you guys can't deny Brad Kai's a good quarterback. Come on. He has so much potential. And hopefully he'll get to show it in Detroit. All right, here we go. Biggest losers. Well, obviously, the number one biggest loser is the Bears. No team did worse in this draft than the Bears did. No team at all. And once more, I believe this is the third, maybe the second year in a row I'm saying this. I feel bad for John Fox. You trade from the number 3 pick to the number 2 pick with the 49ers. And you pick the guy who started 13 games his entire career. What? You want to talk about overhype? So many people have overhyped Mitchell Trubisky. So many people. I was never in that hype, Mitchell Trubisky. At all. We have not seen enough of Mitchell Trubisky to call him great. and he goes number 2. Wow. It just shows what a bad organization the Bears have become. You go from Jay Cutler, really mediocre, to Mitchell Trubisky, who started 13 games. Not even a full season. Not only that, you would think with Alshon Jeffrey gone and a rookie quarterback coming in, who's probably going to start, probably beat out Jay Cutler. You would think, let's go find our new guy or new receiver. Because now we have nobody. Because Alshon Jeffrey's gone. Nope. The Bears did not draft a wide receiver at all. So now, Mitchell Trubisky's going into Chicago with no receivers to work with. What are you doing? How are you going to give your number 2 overall pick nobody to work with? You're going to expect him to be great? You better think again. It's not going to happen. Even free agency, they didn't get any big name receivers for Trubisky. It doesn't make sense. Terrible pick by the Chicago Bears. Absolutely horrible. So as I said to start off the show, the Browns and the Texans traded the picks 12 and 25. So the Browns went to 25. They got Turbo Peppers. But what did the Texans do? And the Texans at 12, they already said they got Deshaun Watson, the top-rated quarterback in this draft. And that was just an obvious pick for Houston. This time last year, I was slandering Houston because they had picked they had signed Brock Osweiler to a $72 million deal. $72 million for a guy that became a big name because C.J. Anderson beat New England in an overtime game. That is the dumbest thing any organization has ever done. That's dumber than the Bears picking Trubisky at number 2. That's a lot dumber than the Bears picking Trubisky at number 2. A whole lot dumber. I don't even think Osweiler started every game last year. Now he's gone. The Texans, it took them 2 seconds to realize what they had done. They realized, oh, God, what have we done? We gave this man $72 million for what? For nothing. Now he's in Cleveland, and he's not going to start there either. So Houston, they no longer have a problem. They got Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is the second best versatile quarterback in this draft behind my man Mahomes, who will not start in the NFL. And if he does, it's for a crappy team. Watson's going to start day one. Watson is starting day one, there's no doubt about it. Not only will he start, he's gonna be very successful his rookie year. Nate Burleson, I believe, works for NFL Network. He used to play with the Lions. Nate Burleson said Deshaun Watson is going to win the Rookie of the Year. Yeah. If Jabril Peppers is not winning Rookie of the Year, it's going to be Deshaun Watson. It's going to be one of those two. I mean, that's it. Deshaun Watson, not only does Deshaun Watson have great legs, great arm, he has one of the best receivers in the league in DeAndre Hopkins throw too. Will Fuller the fifth. He's getting there. He's getting there. I'm a fan of Will Fuller the fifth. He's a stud. Not Arian Foster. They have Lamar Miller now. Great running back. Showed out last year. Showed it his days in Miami. Houston no longer has a problem. I still believe Tennessee will give him the run for the money. And that's going to be the tightest race. The AFC South. At least in the top two. The tightest race of them all will be the NFC East, but that's for another time. That's for another topic for another show. Tightest race for the top two is the AFC South, and it's going to be the Texans and the Titans fighting for it. Because Deshaun Watson, Marcus Mariota, both the teams they both have, it's going to be amazing. Now we get to the end of our draft talk, sort of, kind of. Funniest thing. Number two, and everybody knows this. Everybody that pays attention to the draft, everybody that pays attention to the NFL knows this. The 253rd overall pick, the last pick of the NFL draft, is known as Mr. Irrelevant. Everybody knows that at this point. Everybody knows that. And who's to 2017 Mr. Irrelevant? Now, this surprised me. This is very shocking. I remember tuning in as soon as they were announcing the final pick. When I hear the name Chad Kelly, I was astonished. I couldn't believe a quarterback went last in the draft. And you know what's even more funny about that is I think Chad Kelly could compete for the starting job. I know Sean doesn't think so. Remember, we talked about it in our group chat. He thinks Simeon will start. I think Chad Kelly has a clear shot at winning the starting job. Because, come on, none of those quarterbacks, even now I'm very upset to say, even Paxton Lynch isn't ready to start. He's not the clear-cut starter. Even though I really thought he was. And then they picked him in the first round of last year's draft. I was in love with Paxton Lynch. But now they're thinking of possibly releasing him. So sad. But yes, I feel there is definitely a clear shot. Mr. Irrelevant starts week 1 for the Denver Broncos. Everybody that listens to this is gonna hear this and they're gonna laugh. But just watch. Just watch. And I'll remember this. I will remember saying this. And I'll watch Broncos OTAs. I'll watch Broncos training camp. I'll watch Broncos preseason. Chad Kelly has a very good shot at winning it. And it will be the most amazing thing to ever happen out of the NFL draft ever. Absolutely the most amazing thing to happen. I would love to see that. Will it happen? Who knows? We have a long time until then. Long time. So that was that. That was the end of the draft there. And then there's really only one undrafted free agent that I saw that I was like, oh wow, look at that. Only one, really. There wasn't really anybody else. Travis Rudolph, out of Florida State. I liked watching him at Florida State. He was amazing. But alas, of course, go figure, he signs with the New York Giants. As a Cowboys fan, it's just like, oh boy, why? Just why? Because the Giants already have OBJ. They already have Sterling Shepard. Oh, let's go get a third guy. Great. If he doesn't start, it's a shame because he's a great wide receiver. Really great wide receiver. I enjoy watching. I enjoy watching Travis Rudolph. I feel like he has a lot of potential, and I feel like he should start in the NFL. If he doesn't, it's a shame. The fact that the Giants are giving him a chance, that says a lot, though. Because they obviously can see what great wide receivers look like. So to recap the draft talk, and by the way, we are back after a month hiatus. I believe that's how you say it, hiatus, whatever you want. The SCU Show's back after a month away. Browns and Steelers winners of the draft. Josh Dobbs is going to be great. Patrick Mahomes is going to be back for Blake Bortles or Brian Hoyer in San Francisco in a year from now. Kai to Detroit, if he backs up Stafford and Stafford gets injured, he has potential to lead that team. Bears just absolutely blew it. Blew it right out of the water. The Bears did really bad in this draft. They get who they think is the best wide receiver. Best quarterback, pardon me, but he's not. And then they don't get him any help. It doesn't make any sense there. Sean Watson will win Rookie of the Year. Richard Peppers does not. And I do believe, as crazy as it may sound, Chad Kelly could win the Broncos starting quarterback job, even though he was Mr. Irrelevant. And I love that take up. I love that take of mine. That's going to be one of my hottest takes. It's my hottest take since I said that Dak Prescott would be a great NFL quarterback. As soon as that Dallas drafted, I wrote an article. After the Cowboys drafted, I wrote an article for RSCNreport.com that Dak Prescott had the potential to be a great quarterback if Romo got injured. Uh-oh. Lo and behold. And I was very proud of that article. Still am today. So now we move on from the drafts. We got 20 minutes left here in the show. Now, who doesn't love the media, right? Everybody loves the media. I do this podcast. I have InsideTheArena.org. I'm going to have Around.com starting September 1st. I work with Sean at W2Mnet.com. I'm going to start writing more articles for him. I'll do all the stuff because I want to be part of the media one day. Now I don't want to be part of the media where I'm sitting in the press conference room and I'm like, "Hey Russ, why didn't you win MVP? Your stats were so No, I don't want to be doing any of that. I want to do this. I want to be in front of a microphone, telling you why the Bears suck. This is what I want to do with my life. I want to sit in front of a microphone and tell you why the Bears suck. Kind of like Colin Cowherd's been doing the past 31 years. This is why I do what I do. However, there are people over at ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, that did those press conference things and reporting things because they loved it. Unfortunately, due to Disney, it's not ESPN's fault. Disney caused the layoff of hundreds of some of the best names at ESPN. Some of those names include Ed Werder, longtime NFL guy. Danny Kanell. That was a big loss. He was the other half of Russillo and Kanell on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. ESPN News, pardon me. He was... God, he knew his college football. He absolutely knew his college football. Mark Stein, I believe, NBA guy, he knows his NBA. Now, here's one that hurts. This one hurts. Mark May. He knew his college football. Mark May was the best analyst guy. I don't know the name of it. For college football at ESPN. Yeah, I used to love watching him. It'd be like midnight, and I would be watching college football final with Reese Davis, Mark May, and Lou Holtz. And that would be the best time of the night, Saturdays. No school, you had to get up early, all that good stuff. Now, he's gone. That hurts. That's a big loss. That's a real big loss for ESPN. I can't believe they got rid of him. It's a shame. But all these people, ESPN. It's not ESPN's fault. It's not them getting... They didn't want to get rid of these people. ESPN is not their own thing. It's not like FS1. I'll get to that in a second. FS1 is his own thing, but we'll get to that in a second. Anyway. ESPN is Disney's puppet. And for those that know, Disney controls things very strictly. Like, Disney does things very strictly. Very tight. And since Disney owns ESPN, that's why ESPN's the way they are.
Hold on, I want to stop you before you go down this road.
Go ahead.
You know FS1 is just a sports thing of Fox, right? So if Fox decides... If the big people at Fox... decide they want to fire somebody at FS1, the FS1 channel that's not their fault. Just like it's not ESPN's fault. I'm just letting you know that's the same thing. And Disney had a reason they had to do it because they spent too much money on freaking college football contracts and everything else. At some point the money's gotta start coming back to them. They can't just keep losing money. You know,
well, the thing is, with like Fox and like Fox is also owns FX and FXS, all that. If like FX loses money, it doesn't affect FS1.
Right, but it affects Fox. It's the same thing. It affects Disney if ESPN loses money, and it's not necessarily totally about Disney. It's about they need to figure out how to stop ESPN from losing subscribers. And because they can't figure it out, they've got to just stop spending money on something because they can't stop paying all the contracts they already signed. I hate it too. Trust me, all those people you talked about, I love those people. I grew up with those people. Like Ed Werder was Mr. Cowboy. You know that.
Yes.
It's just it sucks because you never want to hear about people losing their jobs, but. This is one of those times I can't really... Yeah, they could go and fire all the nobodies that nobody knows, but how much money were those people making compared to people that have been there for 20 years or whatever? You know, it's this happens in almost everything at some point. You hate seeing it. In my job, I've seen so many full-time people get fired because they just can't afford them anymore. You know, it's just, Kmart's been going down for years and years, and every year we get 3 or 4 full-time people get fired. You know, it's how it's been since I've been there for 5 years. You know, so it sucks. But this is one of those times I don't know that I can really, just hate on Disney because you have to make choices somewhere, you know?
I'm not hating on Disney. I'm just saying that's the Disney runs. They have things like a set schedule. This happens, this, then, and here, whatever.
And they made a mistake. Like, they had to realize that, oh, crap, we spent too much money. You know?
Right.
It's sometimes when you make mistakes, other people got to pay for it, and that sucks, too. You know, because Bob Iger's not going to go fire himself. So, or whoever, John Skipper is not going to go fire himself because he talked Disney into making these deals. The people below him are going to get fired. It sucks, you know?
Well, there's a nice little lesson there from Mr. Sean Garmer, producer of all podcasts and editor of all articles on W2MF.com. Thanks for that, Sean. It was very insightful. I appreciate that.
No problem.
And I believe, I don't know the guy's name, Richard Deitress. I don't know his name. He works for Sports Illustrated. This guy hates Skip Bayless. And this is just another media thing. Nothing about ESPN or Disney. Richard Deitress from Sports Illustrated needs to do something better with his life. I swear, I go on that guy's timeline every day, or I see people retweet him. Quote tweeting Skip Bayless. Like, good hell. I need a show. The People's Court. So Undisputed got this many viewers today. And then the People's Court got much more viewers than them. And it's an everyday thing from Richard Deitress. Whatever his last name is, from Sports Illustrated. What are you doing with your life? A lot of people don't like Skip Bayless' takes, but who cares? They're his takes. He's going to keep spitting them out of his mouth. No need to make fun of the show ratings. Sheesh. Well, what can I say? It's been good to be back here on the SCU Show. But again, it's not good. Patrick Mahomes can sit behind Alex Smith and go play for the Jaguars. Can't get over that. I cannot get over that. It is such a shame. Okay. So with that, I guess it is time to hightail out of here. I know Sean has some things he has to take care of tonight. I have to get ready for work in the morning. It's great to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to this episode of the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. We'll be back next week for more hot takes, like Chad Kelly starting for the Denver Broncos. For now, goodbye.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.